Hi everyone. I wanted to spend the next 10 minutes with you just going over some simple wheelchair riding strategies for the winter months. We're on a day that it's above freezing here, and so there's snow melt on the road. It's really important that you know the distance from the road surface to what the batteries of your wheelchair sit on, and that you don't put your wheelchair into water that's deeper than that. It isn't the batteries that are the concern. On your power wheelchair is going to be a type of a computer that controls the driving mechanism, and if you have any accessories like tilting seats, lighting, or like a USB charging port. It's really important that you don't get these submerged in water or splashed in water. You're not able to see my head as I'm filming this. I've been doing a lot of shoulder checking so I can go around the puddles. It's just as challenging for the electronics to get splashed with water as it is to be submerged in water. Sometime when you're not in your wheelchair, take a look on the sides of the battery compartment. You should see some wires going through to the motors that are on your wheelchair. What I'm talking about is protecting what those are plugged into so your wheelchair continues to be available for use. I also wanted to say that driving on the sidewalk isn't really practical during the winter months. The reason is that the treads get filled in with snow, and it's like trying to walk on ice. The wheelchair tires just slip and you don't have good traction. Just for the record, there are winter tires available for a wheelchair, but the tires are so small that it doesn't make a really big difference to the controllability of it. A wheelchair drives in the same fashion as an army tank. If you want to turn right, the right big tire slows down, and the left one going faster makes the wheelchair go to the right. If you're on ice and one side loses its traction, or you're driving through a patch of snow and the one side loses its traction, the wheelchair's going to veer off in the opposite way that's lost the traction. And you could be putting yourself headlong into traffic. Where I'm driving in this video clip is on one of the side streets in the city where I live. This is really what's best. And it's to keep me so I can put the wheelchair where I need it to be and not be constantly surrounded by traffic. I did want to briefly touch on the city sidewalks for a minute more. So even though they appear to be clear, it doesn't take much to get the power wheelchair tires filled with ice. I've got myself stuck as recent as about 3 weeks ago. I had to go to my local hospital to get one of my hips looked at, and the snowplow had been through between when I left for the hospital and then when I was seen, treated, and back home again. And driving over maybe a 3-inch sort of mountain of snow that the snowplow left was enough to get the wheelchair stuck. If this happens, what I normally try to do is back out of it. If this doesn't work, then the next best thing is to have your cell phone with you and call somebody if you're not able to stand. Or if you're able to stand and hold on to the sides of your wheelchair, giving it a little jerk might be enough to get it back in contact with the ground. So you need to have the big tires either touching dirt, or more preferably concrete or sidewalk, so it can get traction again and power through. If you're doing this while standing up, I remind you that the further you push your joystick forward, the faster the wheelchair is going to go. So you might want to put the wheelchair into a slower speed, or else just be really mindful that it just needs to go forward just a little bit, like the width of a thumb or maybe 2 fingers, to see if you're able to get it going again. And for what it's worth, if you're still feeling unsure about operating your wheelchair during the winter because of getting stuck, you could keep a Mylar hypothermia blanket with you. They're kind of like a large piece of tin foil that radiates the heat coming off your body back into yourself, so that it would keep your legs warm and your upper body warm until someone's able to come and assist you. And in our day and age, with cell phones, having 4 or 5 people that you could call to assist you would be a wise thing to do on your phone. For what it's worth, I think that you could justify calling 911 if a friend, neighbor, or contact isn't available to rescue you. I say this in the context that being outside and exposed to the cold will become life-threatening and legitimately could become a medical emergency. Having someone come for your wheelchair would make a big difference. It'd be helpful if you have some situational awareness and know what street that you're on and the street number. Although the way 911 is growing, they're getting our location directly by triangulating the phone with nearby towers. The last thing I want to talk about is this path that I'm driving on right now. So the street that I'm driving beside has been plowed, but you'll see this wall of snow to the left. Where the crossing point is to get over this street has been filled in. So when you're in the winter, you need to be flexible and not get frustrated if you come across a barrier like what's seen here and that you need to backtrack or go around. People aren't out to get you specifically. I have sent short emails before asking that they could monitor the gap. For example, Belleville Water several years ago, I actually got stuck where the passage from their parking lot turns onto the street. And I sent just a short email. I wasn't mad. I just asked if they'd keep an eye on it and try to keep it clear for when I'm past there. And it was well received. If you have to go on the side of the road, take your time and really don't rush. I use a Lapgan to cover my legs so the cold won't get to me. And it gives time to be outside before I get my chores all done or on the way to my chores. This is what I had for you today. If you're new to riding a power wheelchair, I'd suggest you watch it for a second time to catch some of the stuff as I was just going off of what was relevant at the moment in the video. I hope each of you are doing well. Bye for now.